Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, global population, some fisheries. Hello, Will.
Halloween.
Halloween. Well, it's different this time. Off on another walk, as usual. It's a nice day, look, see? Lovely. You see the rocket up on the tower? Up on the moors even.
Dad,
That's the tower. What?
we got a hockey mask.
Yeah, we're going as Jason Voorhees' son. Serial killers for hire. On Halloween.
John
Trick-or-treating.
Voorhees.
John Voorhees, yeah, see, Jason and John. Very clever, well done. Anyway, let's get on it, shall we? I don't know if I've shown you this recently or if you know about it already. I discovered this years ago. I put it up on a YouTube video that got took down within about 2 hours. This was before my first ban. Right. British £20 note. Yeah, British £10 note. Notice the watermark? Yeah, can you see it? There, right. Notice that one there? Right, watch this. Tell me what you see. What do you see? Does that look like something that's been going up very recently? This is how they hide symbology. The symbology to communicate. They don't always do it with a single note. Sometimes it just takes a fusion or something to see it.
We're getting Friday and the 13th flashbacks over again.
Yeah, we have fucking off, you see. But that little bit at the beginning was just a little example of symbols and how they're used, how they're hidden, and how their meanings are hidden, and how in effect they're a language. Another language that is known only by the people who are led there to know it, basically. So the alphabet, though, at the end of the day, all of the alphabet is basically symbols representing certain sounds that you make, vocal sounds. Now the meanings of those have changed depending on what words are being used in, the combinations, should I say. And those meanings, the meanings of those words then alter wildly depending on the language being spoken, the nationality of the person, the way the word is used, and so on and so forth. This is also why they change the meanings of particular words. Certain words that hold power, so to speak, and it's not in the way that it's written, although that does have something to do with it. Not to the same extent, but it's how it's spoken, how it's said. I talked about legalese the last time, and this is a perfect example of meanings being changed to give them a separate purpose, a new purpose. But that's not the only reason why they're changed. Sometimes they're changed to hide the fact that they are that powerful a word. Or they have the spellings changed.
Look,
Aye,
someone put the
So they have the spellings changed to alter the way that they're pronounced and the way that they're said. So then those words lose power. And this is because language is thought in material form in a way. Your words, what you speak when you talk, it's your thoughts manifest. Yeah? And this is a big deal. Because now, oh, squirrel! Yes, ooh. See, I'm telling you, we're going to take over. We're already at it. They're behind Joe Biden, I'm telling you.
Look.
What? Oh yeah, your old school.
Look at my old school.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. Yeah. Well, look, see, this is old school. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, thoughts. Thoughts breed form. Yeah, you manifest with your thought. With the human brain, the human mind, as it thinks, it creates. Whenever you think of anything, yeah, I know I do, but apparently not everyone does. Right? I think in pictures, yeah. Even when I'm writing the text out, I'll be imagining the person in my head, what they look like, saying those words to me, yeah. Same with my internal monologue, it's all pictures. A lot of people, most people apparently, I only found this out recently, most people don't think like that, they just think in words and sounds, yeah. Some people don't even get the sound in their head, yeah, which I didn't even know. Despite the fact that the way you speak is tied, it's heavily connected to the way that you write, yeah. Same rhythm, same lexicon use, same structure. You know, there's all sorts of stuff that's unique to you that isn't done by anyone else. I don't mean when you're writing a formal letter, yeah, or anything like that, anything formal, but when you're writing to your friends or writing a text message or just writing a letter to someone you know, a close relative or something, even books about yourself, yeah, they all have a unique structure, unique to you. And with some people, obviously, they don't have well, they have the creative writing skills of a dead stoat, a dyslexic dead stoat, but they may have an interesting story to tell, and that's when they get someone like me involved. I used to be a ghostwriter. I used to specialise in autobiographies and memoir, and I used to have to train myself over a series of 6 to 8 months, depending on the length of the book. Train myself to be able to write like them, yeah, to write like that person.
Eddie.
What?
Russell Brown voices Dr. Navajo.
Yeah, it does, yeah, Russell Brown voices Dr. Navajo, yeah. Now, this meant, like I said, talking to them 6 to 8 months, depending on the size of the work that they wanted doing. Hey, you alright? Hello, Hamfish. Pretty funny.
Really friendly, but it's really jump up.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's been through the mud.
All over the marsh. Yeah. everywhere that gets a mucky, yeah. Well, good luck. Better you than me.
We found a dog.
Yeah, they found it's their dog. Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, this has involved interviewing them for months on end. One to basically generate the story and pick out bits that would fit well in a narrative, yeah, because at the end of the day, even though it's an autobiography or if it's a memoir, it still has to follow a narrative structure and still has to be interesting for the reader, you know what I mean? On top of being personal to them. So we'd be interviewing, we'd be talking. The first few weeks would be quite reticent to talk, and then after that, it's like the floodgates open and get more comfortable. You start learning a lot of things.
Yeah, look, it's the wood.
Ah,
Oh, you almost slipped.
I did, yeah, we'll go that way. A lot of things that, a great deal of them, wouldn't really tell anybody and don't really want anyone to know. In a way, I suppose I act like a bit like a counsellor, a bit like therapy in that capacity. I've worked for some people, I'll tell you. But anyway, it's this personal connection between you and the words that you're writing and the words that you're saying that manifest things in real life. People have, many of you will have heard of this concept before, yeah? It's called many different things: the power of attraction, the manifestation of thought. There's several. Oh, we'll get on the path. Wait, balance, eh?
Look at that mud.
Yeah, I know. Several different names for it, and it's been featured in countless ancient legends, myths, religious texts, you name it. The Navajo Indians probably have one of the most interesting stories about the humanity in its earliest days was given the power of speech by the talking god, and the speaking god gave them words to create, yeah, and manifest things. But because man is a bit sort of reckless and was a bit young in the old spiritual sense, he started doing dangerous things, destructive things, using these words, using them in the wrong way. And so when the leader of the humans came up to see him to get more words, because they were enjoying themselves that much, they're like, no. Come on. I will give you these 8 words. You're forbidden to write them down. If you do, you'll lose them. If you use them more than once, you lose them. Once as in a creation sort of sense. But you can pass them down to your shamans. I'll leave a description, a link to the video in the description.
It's a word saying the language of the holy people. In our traditional teachings, we're told that the original language that was used by the holy people was the language that was given to the Dene. And there was only one language. So the holy people used that language to organize all things. They organized Mother Earth and all of the different materials of matter and that was out in the universe, just drifting around. The holy people used the sacred language to direct these materials and that to form Mother Earth. And they dressed Mother Earth with the finest of all of the different material that they could find that was out there and available. And so that's why the Mother Earth is in layers. But all of the things that are made of material, the holy people would speak the sacred words to them, and then they would do what the holy people wanted those materials to do. The teaching is that after they had organized Mother Earth, they put all of the life forms on Mother Earth, the vegetation, insect, birds, and animals, and finally their children, which is the Dene. And they allowed the Dene to keep the original language that was used by the holy people. But when they did that, after a period of time, their children began to misuse and abuse and pervert the language. And they were doing all kinds of things with the sacred words and giving instructions to the mountains to move over here or to put huge gouges into the Mother Earth and just doing all kinds of things with these sacred words. And so the holy people counseled together and they said, we can't allow that sacred language to remain with our children. They don't know how to use those sacred words in a proper way. The plan was to take the language away from their children. And so they kind of announced to them, we're going to be taking those languages away from you and we're going to give you different languages to speak. The one group, when they heard this information, they said, let's not lose the language. let's see if we can ask the holy people to allow us to keep that sacred language. And all of the people that were at that council agreed. And they said to one man, you go and you talk to the holy people for us. And you tell them what we would like to do is we would like to keep the language, and we make our promise that we will not use the words and the sacred words in that in any type of perverted way or to abuse the words. And so this man went the first time to the holy people, and the holy people said, no, you're not going to be allowed to keep the language. And so he came back and told the group, he said that holy people won't let us keep the language. And so they counseled together again, and they said, go back and tell them we would like to keep the language, and we won't use it in any way that is wrong. We will keep it sacred. He went again, and again he was told, no, you cannot keep the language. And then finally the third time again they counseled, and he went and asked the holy people again and made his request. And again the holy people said no. So finally the fourth time he promised. He says, if we are allowed to keep the language, we will speak to the plants, we will speak to the insects, we will speak to the birds, and we will speak to the animals, and we will use the language to speak to all things, the sacred words to encourage them to do what they are placed on the earth to do. And we will use it with great caution and great respect for all life form. And then the holy people said, we will just allow you just to keep a few of the words. In fact, we will just let you use 12 of those sacred phrases, 12 of those sacred phrases. And that's where the teaching among our people in Navajo, they call it, is the way that they tell it. Only 12 words, or phrases actually, were the allowed to keep. And then the other instruction was, you will not be ever allowed to write the language. And all of the language of the Dene will be an unwritten language. And the holy people gave their instructions as to why. And so the Dene said, we will follow your instructions. This will be forever. As long as we live on the surface of Mother Earth, this is what we agree to. So it is that the Dene were given 12 sacred phrases. And
he's done some fantastic videos on Navajo legends and myths, and creation myths as well. And all of them are fascinating, they really are. But you start to see ties, correlations between their legends and other legends, often like other side of the world. Maybe 7,000 years apart, but they're still very similar. And this again comes back to a world culture or a world civilization or civilizations. Right. For a long while I thought there was just one, but now I think there may be 2, possibly 3, maybe even 4. Yeah, but 2 definitely. This is only because of someone else I've been talking to on Telegram that's been researching the same idea but from an American perspective, and he's been coming up with the same sort of conclusions that I have looking at Doggarland and Eurasia. Yeah. So there was perhaps one that covered the Americas, there was one that covered the Eurasian continent and Northern Africa, and then there was another that was could have been Northern Europe around, but that could have been the same civilization as the one that was in the Black Sea, basically the Aratta. There's a place called Khakazia in Russia that's just astonishing.
Do you just say Kazim Mishima?
No, Khakazia. It's a place in Russia. Very old settlement. Oh wow! Rubber bands. Zex'll love them. Rubber bands. My cat loves them. Anyway, yeah. Zex'll like them. Yeah. Khakazia could have been the remnants of another civilization. Many of you now are going to be turning around going, but Indus Valley, like blah blah blah, Samaria. Yeah, the Aratta seeded them all. Yeah, they know this. now already. But Aratta very likely, after they got to the Black Sea, very likely seeded the Etruscans, which were the predecessors to the Romans, the Iberians, which were the predecessors to the Spanish, and then all of the Semitic cultures, yeah, from Turkey downwards, across northern Africa, Libya, Egypt, all that, and out to the east, seeding India, China. These people were everywhere. It's a huge civilization, yeah. And it was before it was Aratta. When it was Doggarland, it was probably nearly as big, I think. See, the Irish culture, the Irish people, Irish myth, Irish legend, starts at a point when the Irish actually came to that island, the ancient Irish, yeah. In my estimation, this was probably when the coast of Norway collapsed into the sea, yeah, undersea landslide, and sent the tidal wave going all the way across the UK, covering it. This likely drove them westward towards Ireland, and they stayed there, cut off from everyone else. All the ones that travelled down through France and all the ones that travelled up through Scandinavia were cut off from them completely. Yeah. And no one actually made contact with them again for a good few thousand years. People often talk about an Egyptian princess. Yeah, it's supposed to be Akhenaten's sister and wife, yeah, that travelled to Ireland to escape basically being killed by who was Grand Vizier, took over, but also to avenge her husband's death somehow. That's part of the legend. I have a different sort of feeling about it. You see, the Doggarland culture and the Aratta, they both had pictographic writing.
I saw the moon.
Oh wow, yeah.
Look.
Where?
Look. Wait.
Here we go. Oh yeah, you can see it. No, that's not it, is it? Oh yeah, it is. Behind the cloud. It's only a new moon. Anyway, their pictographs, their writing script, is the progenitor of the Egyptian hieroglyphs, of the Chinese pictographs, of the Japanese pictographs, of all the pictographs across Asia, yeah, of early Sanskrit, yeah. It was only the Irish and perhaps the Picts, well, the people that sort of fled to northern Scotland went to northern Scotland probably after they went to Ireland, and set up what is believed to be a shaman school. They were the only ones that kept it. Yeah.
Are you going there?
Yeah, constantly. Whereas the people who settled in Aratta, like I said, it began to change as they travelled across. Yeah, this is why you get runes in the Norse countries that are probably one of the closest. The closest thing to the original sort of writing style, writing script. People say it's Paleo-Hebrew. It's not Hebrew. It's not Paleo-Hebrew either. Well, yes and no, I suppose. Hebrew sort of stemmed from that, yeah, as did Arabic script, and like I said, the Egyptian hieroglyphs stem from there, the Sumerian script stemmed from there. But like I said, as we were travelling across, they all began to gradually change and add their own sort of unique aspects to it over time. Because once it moved from Doggarland, it took them at least 5, 6, maybe 10,000 years to get round to the Black Sea.
We're going to walk up there.
What? We're going to walk down that way, yeah?
No, we'll walk up there.
Where? Why? Oh yeah, we'll go down all the way down and then round then. Yeah, so we're not going in the mud. Now, this means then that, like I said, it's not that that Egyptian princess went across to Ireland, yeah, travelled to Ireland. It's more she was already there.
Captain Eve.
Right. I don't trust the archaeologists and historians' sort of explanations of things, particularly when it's connected to the UK, Doggarland in general, and also the Black Sea. Yeah. This is going to sound really bad, right? A lot of you are going to like it, but you need to get the out of Africa idea out your head. That's not how it happened. I think these three cultures, yeah, the Nordics in the north, yeah, which bred all the Doggerland people, yeah, that's where they came from. The ancient Africans in the south, yeah, that then spread out round towards maybe South America, maybe not, I'm not entirely sure. That's how things began, I think. I think there was Hyperborea and there was Michael Tellinger talked about it a lot, yeah, Sage City.
There's dog poo.
There is, yeah, it's alright. Not gone in it, have we? I think that's where the origins of the black people came from. They both essentially built up at the same time, probably never even knowing each other, yeah? You had Neanderthals and Homo erectus and everything else in the way. In America, they met up. Maybe got along, or maybe they didn't, but they interbred with each other, and this is where you start getting the Mesoamericans, yeah? To the east, this, what could be another civilization in Caucasia, was the same sort of deal, yeah? Caucasia, yeah? And this was, again, a sort of a mixing of the two types of human, yeah? To create another race of people, yeah? Another subset.
Dad,
What?
we're very close to Texaco.
Yeah, we are, yeah, probably. And then you get the Neanderthals that start mixing in with there, and all the Homo erectus and Homo, what they're called, Florientis and Denisov, that were all, what? No, we're not going to Texaco, I've not brought any money. But they were all different species of hominid, yeah, that were living around the same time as us. In fact, with the Denisovans, I'm a bit sort of in two minds whether they were separate or whether they were actually part of the same Doggerland sort of culture, Hyperborea culture.
Glasses.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, the stories of Enki, Enlil, everything else, genetically engineering the native humans, yeah, to be like them. Yeah. The Anunnaki weren't aliens, they were the Doggerland people, they were the Aratta, they were us, yeah? Our original us. The hominids that they engineered was the Neanderthals and the other hominids that were sort of brought in genetically through part engineering, part interbreeding with the general population and not the elite, to create a whole new species, which is what we are now. everyone knows, if you watch my Richard C video, you'll know about the two chromosomes of DNA being fused together, in the human DNA.
Group.
It is, yeah. Nice, scrapyard. Got loads of metal in it and loads of wrecked cars and all sorts of other stuff that smash up. You'd love that job, wouldn't you? Anyway, unlike the vast majority of living organisms on the planet, especially the great apes as they like to call us, they have 24 base chromosomes, which is how many chromosomes there are in a single sort of strand, one strand of DNA or RNA as it is. Something else you don't want to tell you. Now, this gives them, because the DNA is a double helix, this gives you 48, yeah, in each of these sorts of each of these ape species, right? We also had 48 at one time, yeah? Just because they've got similar DNA doesn't mean they're exactly the same. Genetically, you're 50% banana, right? It's true, you're 50% banana. Some people, like our politicians, Joe Biden for sure, probably more than 50% banana.
Joe
Say about
Mama
80.
Biden.
Yeah? I don't find them very appealing anyway.
Joe Mama Biden.
Joe Mama Biden, yeah. Now, the reasons for the fusion, yeah, of the two strands of DNA, two chromosomes in our DNA, it's on it's chromosome 2 and 3, right, that are fused together to make chromosome 2 now, yeah. No genetic scientist.
I can hear some water.
Right. Anyway, we'll tell you that that's a wholly natural process, particularly in the way that it's actually fused and the position that it's fused at. Yeah, there's no evolutionary sort of benefit or detriment to cause that kind of mutation. Apparently, it can happen in the natural world, but it's always in somewhere else. Yeah, that will benefit that animal. With us, it's not. And the way it's tied together, like I said, if you talk to a geneticist, a genetic scientist, off the record, they will point blank turn around to you saying that's not natural, that's engineered. But they're not allowed to say, yeah? They're not allowed to tell anyone.
You're Bugs Bunny.
Oh, thank you. What's that, Doc? But this is how they created the schism between us and them. The reasons being are vast and varied and will take a lot to get into, which we will do over the rest of the series as we look at going from Ireland and now back across sort of Europe to get to the Black Sea. We're going to be travelling back in both directions and coming back to Ireland occasionally. There is lots and lots and lots of folklore and mythology in Ireland that ties to all the folklore across Europe. Well, most of it older than those of the European nations, including the UK, and this is because, like I said, this is where they travelled to after Doggarland was flooded. They all speak about the same things, maybe with different names, different allegories, but the same sort of base structure all the time. Take St Patrick banishing the snakes from Ireland. That is a very ancient story. It's not just a medieval Christianised story.
Why the woods?
Because they keep cutting them down. Right. See? This stems from very ancient Irish folklore. It's not even really St Patrick either. It's just a guy that they've plastered St Patrick over. Right? But those stories of him getting rid of the snakes in Ireland are actually a serpent, a giant serpent. Giant serpents were also dragons to a lot of cultures. Yeah. This is where the St George and the Dragon story comes from, right? The weapon that was placed in the Black Sea, yeah, and the structure that was built in Georgia. All of this can be traced all the way back to there. Yeah,
You're Batman.
in both directions, but it's always older in Ireland.
You're Batman.
Yeah, all right. And the UK. Yeah, Ireland's slightly older for reasons I've just mentioned. But it's just the only one, right, that comes close after the if you like, include Ireland in all the UK, right? You have the UK, which is probably the oldest mythical structure that we have. Yeah? Mythical story structure. I don't care what Michael Tellinger says. Yeah, he's talking rubbish. The South African mythologies, the ancient Sumerian mythologies, are very young, and just other interpretations of the same stories that come out of the Slavic region of the Black Sea and to the east from the UK. The only ones that match it, like I said, are the Norse myth. Their mythology is extremely old, just like ours is, but they have a more, because we didn't really record anything about our Celtic gods or anything like that, didn't write them down, a lot of the mythology's been lost, yeah, over time. This was by design by the Catholic Church, because they knew what they were doing, yeah. The Norse didn't have too much of a choice to just not bother doing that to them, because they wouldn't let them, yeah, Vikings. But the Norse mythology is probably the oldest, the most complete of the oldest ones, yeah. And this is why all of it predates Egypt, Africa, even the Black Sea, yeah, because they've retained that same structure, yeah. We know roughly that Norse mythology and Celtic mythology, or ancient UK mythology, yeah,
You're despicable.
was, I know I am, thanks, was extremely similar, yeah. So we can sort of derive an idea of what our myths were like from the Norse.
You're just like,
But then you see ties to the Sumerian myths, yeah,
like
the Slavic myths, yeah, that were seeded by this same sort of culture, all coming into one point on the Black Sea.
yeah.
The stories of Inanna are actually of a queen that ruled that area, yeah. This is why a lot of the pottery and a lot of the statues that they found look sort of Middle Eastern, Sumerian. Yeah, they're not. They're Arattan, they're Slavic, because all those legends came from there. Yeah, it was the Ubaid that adopted them and believed that they were gods. This episode of on Ireland is going to be 2 parts, okay, because there's far more I need to get into before we move off. But this should give you a good understanding of where we're going with this, because, like I said, there's legends of the giants, they're Celtic gods, the legends of Dagda and everything else, yeah, the Dagda, the Banshee legends, everything is just Morrigan, yeah. Again, you can see the correlations between England and Ireland there. Okay, thanks. Who was King Arthur's main enemy? The sorceress called Morrigan, yeah. See? Correlations. Of course there's going to be, but you get the same in Slavic regions. Slightly older, slightly altered, different names. I'm going to be doing a live chat on Telegram with a friend of mine, mostly about gematria, because it was the topic of the subject of the book that we wrote together. But we will be touching on other subjects as well. Some of it will be this. I'll record it and then upload it onto this channel anyway. If you're not on Telegram, get on Telegram. Yeah, because I'm going to leave a load of links in the description to go and look at for documents, books, all sorts. And these will help you understand how I'm getting to this point. But like I said, you'll be able to watch this live chat live, be able to ask us questions, and it'll be a real good do.
I will show my official.
Anyway,
I will show my official pirate peely concept.
we'll show his official pirate peely concept. Yeah. Anyway, like, share.
Donald Mustard has retired.
Donald Mustard has. Okay, you know the drill.
See you later.
See you later.
Donald Mustard has retired.